The Young and the Restless spoilers. The arrival of Claire's twin sister is no accident. It's part of a well-calculated plan orchestrated by Jordan. With a mission to undo Claire and Holden's web of deceit, Jordan's role is far more sinister than initially expected. She isn't just here to uncover the truth, she's determined to dismantle everything Claire has worked so hard to build. Jordan's motivations are clear, and her presence in Nice has sparked a chain reaction of events that will alter the trajectory of everyone involved. As the twin sister of Claire, Jordan shares a deep connection to her, but like Claire, she's driven by a cold, calculated desire to expose the truth and destroy everything in its path. She may have grown up alongside Claire, but their lives have been very different, and Jordan is no longer the innocent twin she once was. Claire, caught in the whirlwind of her past actions and her present secrets, realizes that her world is on the brink of collapse. Faced with the looming threat of her twin sister's interference, Claire's desperation takes over. She tries to convince Jordan to leave Nice, to let her live out her life in peace and free from the tangled mess that has dominated her existence. In an effort to protect herself and Holden, Claire offers her sister a tempting incentive: $1 million. The money is meant to silence Jordan, to ensure she disappears quietly and without causing further damage to Claire's carefully constructed world. But there's a catch. Claire's offer isn't born from a place of generosity or love. It's a strategic move to protect everything she holds dear. She needs to ensure Jordan's silence, but also to buy time for herself and Holden to find a way out of the mess they've created. The $1 million, a large sum by anyone's standards, serves as both a bribe and a way of controlling the situation. However, Claire's decision to turn to money to resolve her problems is indicative of how far she's willing to go to protect herself, even if it means using her own flesh and blood as a bargaining chip. Jordan, however, is not so easily swayed. Her anger at Claire's betrayal and her desire for vengeance have been building for years. She sees through the facade of Claire's offer and knows there's more at stake than just money. Jordan doesn't want to be bought off. She wants power, control, and to destroy the very life Claire has built. The sisterly bond that once existed between them has been shattered, and Jordan is prepared to go to any lengths to make Claire pay for her deception. In a moment of raw emotion, Claire admits to Holden that the only way to deal with her sister is through threats. This revelation shocks Holden, who has been wrestling with the consequences of their actions and the moral implications of their relationship. Claire's willingness to use force and manipulation on her own sister exposes the darker side of her character. It's a grim realization for Holden, as he sees how far Claire is willing to go to maintain control, even if it means alienating her own family. The plan to intimidate Jordan isn't just a last-ditch effort, it's a reflection of the high stakes Claire and Holden now face. If Jordan doesn't comply, the consequences could be disastrous, not just for Claire but for everyone involved. Their secrets are on the verge of being exposed, and the clock is ticking. Claire knows that she has to act fast to secure her future, but the question remains, will her twin sister be the one to destroy everything? Or will Claire's desperate measures be enough to protect her empire? As the tension between the sisters builds, Claire finds herself caught between two worlds: one she's created with Holden, built on lies and manipulation, and the family bond she once shared with Jordan. The stakes are high, and the stakes even higher as the path Claire chooses will determine not only her future but the future of everyone she's connected to. With each passing moment, the pressure on Claire intensifies, and her desperation grows. The drama surrounding her relationship with Holden, the return of Jordan, and the family secrets that threaten to surface will keep the viewers at the edge of their seats. As Claire and Holden face the fallout from their past decisions, the ultimate question remains: how far are they willing to go to protect themselves? And what lines will they cross in order to keep their world from crumbling? The world Claire had built based on deception, manipulation, and carefully calculated decisions was beginning to unravel, piece by piece. It started with the arrival of Jordan, the twin sister Claire had never expected to see again. And with her arrival came a storm, one that threatened to destroy everything Claire and Holden had fought so hard to build. Jordan wasn't just any stranger reappearing from Claire's past. She was the catalyst, the force that could expose every secret, every lie, and all the dark dealings that Claire and Holden had kept hidden for years. As the days passed in the beautiful but haunting city of Nice, the tension between Claire and Jordan grew thick. Jordan had come with a singular mission: to dismantle Claire's world. Her reasons were clear: betrayal, envy, and the overwhelming desire to expose Claire for the woman she had become. The warmth and affection they once shared as twin sisters had evaporated, replaced with a cold, calculating ambition. Jordan wasn't here to reconcile. She was here to destroy. Claire's carefully crafted image of a powerful and touchable woman was now on the verge of shattering, and with it, the delicate balance she had maintained with Holden. Holden, the man who had been her rock through everything, now found himself at the center of a storm he couldn't control. Claire had always been good at keeping things under wraps, at keeping Holden in the dark when necessary, but with Jordan's presence, there was no more room for secrets. The gravity of their situation began to hit Holden in ways he hadn't expected. It was one thing to have a shared history with Claire, but it was another to see her so vulnerable, so ready to fight tooth and nail to protect her empire, her family, and her reputation. As the confrontation with Jordan loomed closer, Claire knew that the one thing she needed more than anything was control. She couldn't let her twin sister expose everything, especially not now. With the weight of the decisions she had made over the years pressing down on her, Claire turned to her most trusted ally, money. She made an offer to Jordan: $1 million to leave Nice and disappear from their lives forever. It was a sum that Claire believed would be more than enough to buy her sister's silence. The offer was tempting, but also deeply flawed. Claire didn't just want her sister out of the picture, she wanted her to understand just how much was at stake. But Jordan was not someone who could be bought. Her anger toward Claire had been building for years, and money was not the price for her silence. Jordan didn't want to be silenced, she wanted to see Claire crumble. The very existence of Claire's empire, built on lies and manipulation, was an affront to Jordan. She had spent years living in the shadow of her sister's actions, always second best, always overshadowed. Now, with her own power and control, Jordan was ready to destroy everything Claire held dear. Money would never be enough to quiet the rage that had been building inside her for so long. As Claire's desperate pleas for Jordan to leave Nice were met with cold indifference, she realized just how little control she actually had. She had underestimated her sister, and now she was paying the price. The offer of $1 million, though generous by anyone's standards, was seen by Jordan as a symbol of Claire's weakness. It was a desperate, last-ditch attempt to maintain control, and Jordan saw right through it. What Claire had failed to realize was that this battle was no longer about money, it was about power. Jordan wanted to see Claire suffer, to see her pay for the years of lies, manipulation, and cruelty. The clock was ticking. Claire knew that time was running out, and she needed to act fast. The one thing she could still control was the narrative. In a raw moment of vulnerability, she confided in Holden, her partner in both business and crime. She told him that the only way to deal with her twin sister was through force, through threats, intimidation, and manipulation. There was no room for softness in this game. Holden's shock was palpable. He had always known Claire as a woman of strong will, but this new side of her, side that was willing to go to such extreme lengths to protect herself, was something he hadn't anticipated. "Claire," Holden said quietly, "is this really the path you want to go down?" But Claire was resolute. She couldn't let Jordan destroy everything they had worked for. Holden could see the desperation in her eyes, the fear that she would lose it all. He understood the stakes, but he couldn't ignore the moral implications of what Claire was asking. To threaten Jordan, her own flesh and blood, was a step too far. But Claire was beyond reasoning. The fear of losing her empire, her position, and her future was overwhelming. She needed to regain control, and she was willing to do anything to ensure that happened. And so, the plan was set in motion. Claire and Holden would confront Jordan, but this time, it wouldn't be with a plea for peace. It would be with a threat and ultimatum. If Jordan didn't leave Nice and disappear from their lives, they would make her life so miserable that she'd have no choice but to retreat. It was a dangerous move, but Claire knew no other way. She had to protect herself, and she had to protect Holden. There could be no more mistakes, no more room for error. The truth, when it came out, would be devastating. Claire's empire would crumble, and so would her carefully crafted life. As Holden prepared to face Claire's twin, his mind raced. He couldn't believe how far they had come, how quickly they had spiraled into this chaotic mess. He had never imagined that their relationship would be tested like this, that Claire's past would come rushing back with such a vengeance. The secrets they had kept hidden for so long were about to be exposed, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. The confrontation with Jordan was inevitable. Claire's emotions were raw, her fears palpable, and her desperation clouded her judgment. As she and Holden made their way to meet Jordan, she could feel the weight of everything she had done pressing down on her shoulders. But there was no turning back now. She had chosen her path, and there would be no coming back from the consequences. Jordan's response to Claire's ultimatum would determine the future of everyone involved. Would she accept the money and leave, or would she take the opportunity to destroy everything Claire had worked for? As the moments ticked by, the stakes grew higher, and the tension between the two sisters reached a boiling point. What was once a bond of love had now become a battle for control, power, and survival. In the end, the question remained, would Claire's threats be enough to silence Jordan, or would her twin sister's desire for revenge tear everything apart? The choices they made in these next few moments would determine their fates and the fate of everyone caught in their tangled web of lies.